today is Friday, which means that it's time for another live Q&A all about eBay and Amazon dropshipping. I'm your host, Paul J. Lipsky, as always. And before we get into the questions and answers from this week, I'll first be covering some news about dropshipping, specifically this time about Amazon and Walmart. So if you guys are watching this on replay, the first about 5 or 6 minutes, I'll cover that new news. And then the rest of the video will be answering all questions that you guys have asked me throughout the week. I take screenshots of them, I put them up on the screen. Or if you're here in the live chat, just like Dan is right now, we can answer any questions you have live right now. But let's get into this week's news and what's been going on in the world of dropshipping. So this is what I wanted to talk about today. This was an article I read on, what website is this? This is Business Insider. And it's all about how third-party sellers on Amazon, so this is relevant to people who are dropshipping on Amazon, how third-party sellers are trying to band together to kind of, beat Amazon's unfair practices, as you might call it. So I don't know if you guys know this, but there are over 50,000 third-party sellers on Amazon who make over $500,000 in sales each year. And actually, over 58% of the sales that happen on Amazon come from third-party sellers, just like you and I. So this is one of the reasons I was so excited to get started with Amazon dropshipping, because even though most people think that when they're shopping on Amazon, they're buying their items directly from Amazon, in over half the cases, that's not true. Over half the sales are from third-party sellers, just like you and I. And some of those people, like myself, we are drop shipping those products. So there is a ton of potential here. But the problem is that Amazon sometimes engages in what a lot of people are calling these unfair practices. So one of the things that's pointed out in this article is how Amazon has way too much insider information about what's selling well on their platform. And it kind of gives them a really unfair advantage. And the one story that I saw here, I'm not sure where it is exactly now, but the story was that a company was selling a laptop stand, and it was one of the top sellers on Amazon. They were making a lot of money from it. And then Amazon came out and made their own version of it and sold that same version for half the cost. So guess what happened? Everyone started buying the cheaper Amazon version, and not to mention the fact that Amazon was promoting that item above the competitor's item. And a lot of people are saying that that's unfair business practices, that's happening. Now, the other thing pointed out in the article, here's that information about the laptop. But the other thing mentioned in here is suspensions on Amazon, and how Amazon will just sometimes throw out these suspensions without really giving any guidance as to why it's happening. And a lot of times the reasons are pretty trivial as well. And how the company Amazon seems to side with the buyers, even if there's nothing to back up what the buyers are saying. Now, not only that, but the reinstatement process can be really, really tough for some sellers as well. Now, on a lot of platforms, most people would just say, well, that's the cost of doing business, right? That's something you have to be expecting when you're selling on third-party platforms like eBay, Amazon, Etsy, things like that. But Amazon, this article is arguing, and this is what the cases that are being tried in court are arguing, is that Amazon is unique because it takes up such a huge percentage of the market. It's just so prevalent. And if a company is putting so much money into selling on Amazon, and Amazon just shuts them down or steals their products, the arguments that are being brought before courts is that they shouldn't be allowed to do that without some sort of due process in place. That Amazon doesn't have the right to just kick someone off of selling on their platform without some sort of due process there, because it's essentially a monopoly in that case. So those are the biggest complaints. And so what sellers are being encouraged to do is to band together to fight against Amazon. Now, Amazon has already been investigated, or investigations ongoing by both the Department of, by the Federal Trade Commission rather, for antitrust violations as well. So there's a lot going on at Amazon that people aren't happy about. people aren't happy that Amazon pretty much, where they don't pay any taxes at all. They found so many loopholes to not pay any taxes. And think about the billions of dollars that are being lost there to our government because they don't have to pay taxes. Meanwhile, we, individual people, do have to pay taxes. And how much potentially lower our taxes could be if big companies like Amazon were forced to pay taxes and couldn't take advantage of these loopholes and really abuse them. So that's why they're being encouraged to band together as sellers to kind of fight Amazon and these practices. Now, the other bit of news that I read, and I'm sorry, I don't have the article on this one, is that Walmart is really pushing to expand its third-party marketplace. So a lot of people don't know this, but you can actually sell products on Walmart just like you can on Amazon or with eBay. Now, Walmart hasn't really pushed this too hard in the past, but apparently the news is that they're going to start encouraging more people to join Walmart to start selling products on their website. And big hint to some of you guys, I do know people who drop ship successfully onto Walmart as well, and I'm willing to bet that it's a pretty untapped market at this point still. So that's pretty exciting. I'm assuming, or hoping rather, that if that is what they want to do, that they will make it easier for us to do it as sellers and encourage us to do it with some sort of new programs or making it easier, kind of the back end process for doing that. So that's all the news that I have about dropshipping, but I do have a ton of questions that I saved up from this week. So let's see who's here in the chat. We have Aaron saying, where's the popcorn at? It's BYP, bring your own popcorn, BYOP. What's up, Lazy Abram? Thanks for being here. And Rich, hola, thanks for being here. Okay, we have Rich here. I would give up a day of sales on Amazon if all sellers would take a sit-out day to show Amazon why we are important to their business model. Yeah, I think some sort of protest like that. Unfortunately, I've seen protests like that try to get spread across the internet, and they never seem to work. And it's pretty obvious, I think, why they wouldn't work. I think most people think, well, what's one day really going to hurt them? And I think there's always those sellers that say, hey, while everyone else is not doing it, I am going to do it and make a ton of sales. So unfortunately, I think it's really hard to get people to band together like that. But this article got me thinking if maybe there could be some sort of Amazon seller union that bands together. And yeah, and in that case, it would be a bit of a strike that happens. So Dale says, hey, Paul, as for your markup, pretty sure Dale's selling on eBay. For instance, would you list a product if you would be making less than $2 on it? So you really got to evaluate this for yourself and where you are at with your business, what kind of systems you have in place. So when I was first starting out, I didn't really care about making too much money at first. I just wanted to get the ball rolling and get sales generating. Once sales started to pick up, I started to look at the profit, saying, I wanted to make at least a couple of dollars every time I sold a product. Then I was able to get reliable software that worked. I was able to hire virtual assistants for just a couple of dollars an hour. And you kind of play with the math a little bit and take a look at things. And I saw even if a product only makes me $1 profit, I'm willing to take that when I don't have to do any work to actually fulfill that order and get it out to the customer, which is the case when I have software doing so much for me and I have my virtual assistants placing those orders for me. So yeah, in that case, $1 profit is fine with me because every little bit counts there. Now, the other thing you want to consider is how much work. Sometimes it helps to look at the price of the items. So with more expensive items, you're probably going to make more money for each sale. But for the lower price items, if you do the same percentage of a markup, the amount of profit in terms of dollars will be lower. So in that case, you might actually want to add an additional $1 on top of it, just so you make it so that's worth your time and energy to do it. What's up, John? So again, my profit margins for new stores, I do keep them low, just get the ball rolling. And I also do this anytime that I find that my sales have slowed down for a particular reason. I will lower the margins just to get kind of things going. So I'll give you an example. 2 days ago, was it 2 days ago or was it yesterday? We fell behind on our orders. We just had way too many orders earlier this week and we just fell behind. This is on eBay. So in order to catch up, I raised the price of all my items so that people wouldn't buy them, or I would sell less of them, so we can kind of catch up on our orders. We've now done that. So this morning I changed it so our prices are now lower. Even though I did that, it doesn't seem like our sales are quite picking up at the same level that they were before I raised the prices. So I'm not sure if it's just taking time for the system to process all the changes or what it is. So I am keeping an eye on it. But if tomorrow the sales haven't returned to the way they were, what I'm going to do is lower the prices just to get things going again, and then kind of raise them back up to where I'm more comfortable with. But that kind of gives you a kind of an idea of how to play with that. Okay. So if you live outside the United States, can you become tax exempt? You can. Oh, my hair's. I just got out of the pool. So you can become tax exempt, but what you'll have to do is create a business here in the United States, usually an LLC, and the tax exemption will be for the LLC. All right. Oh, what's up, Garen? Scotty says, Amazon is the next Enron. They haven't made a profit in 12 years. Okay. So what's up, Rain? Thanks for being here. Can you please explain what is the quantity number you should put on the eBay listings? Thank you. I'd be happy to. So quantity, basically, when we're drop shipping, we don't have a set quantity. It's not like you go to a thrift store, find one of an item, and you only have one for sale. Since we have a continuous supply of items from our supplier, we can put the quantity, we would think we can put it at a really high number, or you can just put it as one. What do you want your number to be there? So there's a few different viewpoints here. A lot of people think that you should put the quantity as one because that's going to make buyers think, oh my gosh, there's only one left, so I better buy it now. I think that does work somewhat, but there's also buyers out there who want to buy multiples of the same item, and that applies in situations where you have an item that people will want to buy multiples of. So the example I like is a bedside table. People want a bedside table on each side of the bed. So they don't want to just buy one, they want to buy two of them. So in that case, you might want to keep your quantity at two or more than two. But in the beginning, it's fine to use one. And the reason for that is because as a new seller, your limits are going to be lower. So you don't have the room to list multiple quantities of every single item. So if you list a quantity of one for each item, you'll be able to list more items that are different. And that's kind of the better way to go in the beginning. Okay, let's see. So Aaron is saying that he has some items that are out of stock and he was canceling the orders through PayPal. Is that a good solution? It's actually not, Aaron, because when you refund them through PayPal, you don't always get your final value fee back from eBay. So you're still paying a fee even though you didn't get any money because you returned it all to PayPal. So the better thing to do is to refund through eBay as long as you refund the correct way. Okay. What was your product research strategy before you got software? It's the same thing. So the software just helps with the product research, but it doesn't replace the product research. The product research that I do is exactly the same as I used to do it. The software does speed it up, but I don't think it's necessary to do product research. So, I really like software. I kind of think it's fun to play with and to try different software to automate my business as much as possible. And I use several different software to do that for my business. Everything from finding items. I use a program to help find good selling items, to listing the items, to repricing them, to helping fulfill orders as well. But when you're first starting out, the only software that I think you really need to get started is something that will help you quickly list items onto eBay, and then it will also reprice those items for you. So you list an item from Walmart onto eBay, it will do that for you in a matter of a second or even faster, and then it has now linked up that item on Walmart with that item on eBay. If the price on Walmart goes up, it will automatically make sure the price on eBay goes up as well. So that's the only software that I think you absolutely need when you start. The other software is nice. I do use it, but I don't like to overwhelm people in the beginning. I don't think you need to buy everything right off the bat. Scale up to the point where it then makes sense for you to start using that other software. Now, more specific to your question, my product research strategy, I'm not going to go into it now, but I do have a free webinar that you can check out. You can click that link down below. It should say there's a free eBay training or free eBay course or webinar, and go ahead and click that link and sign up, and you can watch the webinar and learn exactly how I do it because I cover it in that video or in that webinar. Okay. Okay. How can I get more motivation to dropship? So this is really something that requires you to go inside your brain, inside your heart, so to speak, and figure out why it is that you want to be successful with dropshipping. And there are a ton of reasons people want to be successful with online businesses. Whenever I ask this question, you hear things like, I want to make more money, I want a nice car. Things like that are nice, but they're never going to push you through when things get tough and when you have to just sit down and put in the work. A real good why is something that will motivate you, that's intrinsic and also kind of extrinsic as well. So things like you hate your job and you're just looking for some freedom, or you want to travel the world, or you want to retire your spouse, or you just want a little bit of extra money on the side so you can feel more comfortable paying off your mortgage faster or meeting your rent every month without falling behind, or building up a college fund for your kids. Whys like that, especially when you involve someone else and you have some sort of accountability to someone else, those are really strong whys that are really going to push you through when you're just not feeling motivated. And especially if you share those with the people that are involved, you have a sense of accountability where you've now put this out to them and said, I really want to do this. I really want to quit my job and be able to travel the world and to do online businesses full time. You've now put that out there, and that is a really strong motivator because when we put that out there like that, we don't want to fail, right? We don't want to have to come back and say, oh yeah, about that. I wasn't actually able to do it. I gave up on it. It's embarrassing, right? And we can use that to our advantage to motivate us to actually accomplish something. So you really have to do the work, sit down and figure out why you want to do this. And that makes a huge difference to your success. Really ask yourself, are you doing this just for the money? Are you doing this just for the cars or whatever it is that you want to buy? Or is there a deeper, real meaning to this? Now, with that said, I do find it helpful as you're going along to set milestones for yourself and to give yourself superficial bonuses for hitting those milestones. So let's say you said, I want to make $1,000 this month. You can do that. And you can say to yourself, you know what? If I hit $1,000, I'm going to spend half of that on something I really love, like maybe my favorite, like buy a bunch, like a new video game console or something like that. It's very superficial, but those superficial bonuses really motivate you, and they can really push you to go through because you really want that video game system, and you're not going to buy it unless you make an extra $1,000 this month. Okay. MSH Beatbox says, if you switch a VPN on and off do you have to clear the cookies? So I'm not an expert when it comes to VPNs. As far as I understand, you can be tracked through your IP address and also through your cookies, even if you use a VPN. So I'm pretty sure if you don't want a website to know it's you, you should use a VPN and either clear your cookies or open an incognito window. So if you use incognito with Google Chrome, and there's also, what's it called, private browsing through Mozilla Firefox, they all have something like it. If you open up one of those windows, there will be no cookies on it. And as soon as you close it out, all the cookies disappear. So if you start a new incognito window after that, there will be no cookies attached. So that's an easy way without having to clear everything out of the browser that you've been working on. Okay. Thank you. I love you guys too. Hey, what's up, Wally? Thanks for being here. DD says, what about doing sponsored listings instead of lowering the price? So that sponsored listings definitely do work. Oh, I see what you're saying. So if you just want to drive sales, yeah. So you can play around with mixing up things like sponsored listings and lowering the prices. I've found that running sponsored listings do work, and I found that lowering prices do work independently of each other. But you have to find a balance, right? You can't just mark up the sponsored listings like 10% because that might cut way into your profit or get rid of your profit entirely. Okay. Okay. All right, so let's answer a question I had from this week. So this person asked, does Home Depot and Wayfair change some of their product prices like Lowe's does? So I recently made a video about how to dropship from Wayfair and what to look for when you're dropshipping from Wayfair. And so this was a question on there. Now, I'm not entirely sure what your question is. Every store will change their prices for different reasons. So there are sales, things go on sale and then they come out of sale. Sometimes different zip codes will have different prices as well. And sometimes things just change in price. Things go up or down in price. That's pretty common. So it's not exclusive to just Lowe's. It also happens on Home Depot. It also happens on Wayfair and Walmart. It happens on all the websites. That's why it's really important to have a software to keep track of that. That way, if the price changes on your supplier's website, like Walmart, it changes on eBay as well. You don't have to manually go in and check every single listing every single day. Okay. And the other thing I'll say about the software is that if it wasn't clear from what I was saying, it does save you a ton of time because listing up the items that way and having them automatically reprice, automatically restock is going to make sure in over 99% of the cases that you're not going to sell an item that has accidentally gone out of stock and you didn't notice, or that changed in price and you didn't notice. So that's why I'm a huge advocate of using the software. If you use it right, it works. And if you use it right, it's just a cost of doing business. There's some people who say that it's too expensive to use, but you only level up, you only pay for the more expensive packages with the software once you start making money. And then it's just like I said, a cost of doing business. You know, if you look at the numbers, if you're spending a lot of time repricing items on eBay, checking the prices, if the prices change on your supplier's website, that's a lot of time spent doing that, or a lot of time that a virtual assistant will spend doing that, which costs money. But if you can instead just have a software do that for you automatically, it saves you time, which saves you money. So I definitely think it's a smart idea to use software like that. Okay, on September 20th, I will be top rated seller. Will this improve my rating traffic to my store? Probably not. As far as I know, it won't do that. There's really not a huge benefit to being top rated seller. It's kind of one of these almost lies that eBay has sold us, where they want us to believe like there's something special about being TRS, and there's really not. The only real benefit is if you become top rated seller plus. Okay. How much does my course cost? For the current price of the eBay course, you got to click down below to see the current price. I do raise it sometimes. I never lower it. So you got to see what right now what the price is. It will be linked up in the description. Okay, Terry is here from work. I love it, Terry. All right, so another question I had, Paul. This is from Dale. Hey, what's up, Dale? So I'm going to answer your question. I know you're here live too. Do you use a template for your source, or do you use a bare bones minimal style? Okay, so when you're listing an item, you can just copy the description from your supplier and paste it onto eBay. And basically just paste it onto eBay, and that just looks like blank text. Or you can use a template that makes it look nice. Have a nice header, some nice colors, a nice photo in it. And I'm always a fan of using templates. I think they look more professional, they look nicer, and anyone coming to your store will have more confidence, I believe, shopping with you if you have a professional looking template. Now, with that said, when I first started, I was running my store fully manual, so I was just copying everything and pasting over. And in that case, it was just a block of text, and I was doing fine in the beginning with that. But now that I'm using the software, which is, again, saves me a ton of time and has allowed me to scale my business, that software comes with templates, and I think the templates look really, really nice. So I do use them, and I haven't had any issues with it. All right. That was that question. James says, have I ever used Terapeak for product research? No, I haven't. I know that's now something that eBay has been pushing, but like I said, I primarily do it manually, which I cover again in that webinar, or we use the software to help with that manual process. And the software that I use is called Zeek Analytics. And the reason I like it is because it's specifically designed for drop shippers, where Terapeak is not. So having that advantage, having a company make a software specifically to help drop shippers find other products to sell, that's why I think it's better than something like Terapeak, which is more just for general eBay users, which they didn't really think of us when they made that software. Okay. So A-Train says, hey, Paul, I'm new to your channel, so thanks for being here and hopefully subscribing. I wanted to know, with AliExpress, can I pre-order the product myself, repackage it, and send it to the customer so that I make it look nicer? So you can do that, but that's not really drop shipping. Plenty of people do that. So that you would go on to AliExpress or probably Alibaba, find a product that after some research is going to sell well on either Amazon or eBay, buy a whole bunch of them, and you could ship them to yourself, make them look nicer, repackage them, either ship them to Amazon FBA and have them fulfill the orders, or ship them out of your house onto either Amazon or eBay. That is not drop shipping, but certainly something you can do. Now, something else you can try doing is drop shipping from AliExpress onto Amazon or eBay. eBay is probably a better idea. And if it works, you have products that are selling a lot, then consider going to Alibaba, buying a bunch of them, and then selling them directly from you to the customer. That way, your margins will probably be higher because you're buying them in bulk from Alibaba. And so that's a really smart method to do as well. Thanks for this great compliment, Wally. Your eBay course is always underpriced. What websites do I use to dropship to eBay? So the ones I cover in the main course are the main ones that I use, which are eBay and Walmart. I don't really use Amazon anymore, but it's very popular, so that's in there as well. And I drop ship from Lowe's as well. How do I capture photos from suppliers that are web-based? So when you're drop shipping, you get stock images from your supplier, like Walmart. And generally, when you're using the listing software, it will automatically pull those images for you. So when you're doing something manually, like what I used to do, what you had to do was you wouldn't copy the title, but you'd create your own title, which you still have to do. You would copy the description, paste it over. You would copy, usually there's some sort of bullets at the top, paste those over. You would have to download each photo onto your computer and then upload them one by one to eBay. You would then have to go through every category specific and add as many as you can. You then have to do some math to determine what the price should be and enter the price on eBay. And then you would have to enter that into a spreadsheet so that you could keep track of it one by one, every single item. This is another reason I really like the software. All that is done for you in the matter of a second. It's all done automatically, including the photos. So it's just going to grab the photos, grab the item specifics, grab the description, and automatically put it on eBay, do the math for you. It keeps track of everything for you, so you don't have to put it into a spreadsheet. This is another reason I really like the software. Now, for some reason, your supplier doesn't let you download images. You could just take a screenshot. A lot of computers have them built in. I know MacBooks do. You can hold down Command, Option, and then what is it? Command, Control, and Command, Shift, and then the number 4, and you can kind of draw where you want to take a picture of or screenshot of. I forgot how to do that for a second. So it's hold down Command, hold down Shift, and press 4. And then if you don't have screenshot ability, you can download a Chrome extension called Lightshot. It looks like a purple feather, and that allows you to take a screenshot as well inside any Chrome browser. I'll show you how that works. So this is it right here. On the top right, I don't know if you can see that, there's a little purple feather. So if I click that, it actually opens up a new tab, right? And then I just select what it is that I want to take a photo of by dragging it. And then you can either save this onto your computer by clicking this save icon, or you can upload it to a cloud. And this is really useful, especially if you're working with virtual assistants. You can quickly send them a photo without having to take a screenshot, upload it somewhere, and then send them a link to it. And you can also print it. You can draw on it, draw an arrow, circle things. So it's really, really useful. This is really great, especially if you're working with virtual assistants. Or if they have any questions like, hey, Sir Paul, I don't know how this works. Or what does this error message mean? I always tell them, take a screenshot, send it to me. And this is what they use for that. It's free. All right. Why did I say Alibaba instead of AliExpress? Because when you are, so AliExpress is more like the retail side of it. So on AliExpress, you can buy one of an item. So let's say you're buying an iPhone case. You can buy one iPhone case from AliExpress and ship it anywhere in the United States. Alibaba almost always has the exact same products, but you can't usually buy just one of them. You have to buy them in bulk. And when you buy them in bulk, per item, it's much cheaper. So it's more like the wholesale version of AliExpress. Okay, so Dan says, hey, Paul, what goals do you have for your current eBay store? What were your greatest milestones along the way? I remember before I listed my first item and wondered how I would do it. Yeah, so currently my goals are, and I've talked about this in other videos, I'm really trying to build out an A plus stellar virtual assistant team. And I'm really close to doing that. I've kind of streamlined. I had to let some go, some left, and I'm hiring new ones. And I really want this to feel more like a team, and I want them all to be more invested and really feel like when the business does well, they do well. So they really want the business to do well. So what does that mean? So I've hired virtual assistants that the ones I recently hired are handling all of the orders. In the past, I had them working independently where they wouldn't communicate with each other, and I started from scratch. I hired people with a little experience and I trained them. But what I've done is I've hired 2 people who have really good experience. They are able to get started right away, and they're working together to make sure all the orders get done every day. Unfortunately, like I said before, we kind of fell behind with our orders a few days ago, which is okay. They're still learning, and I probably scaled things up too quickly, but I would like to get them to the point where they are able to finish all the orders every day. I might have to hire even a 3rd one to help with it as well, because we have just so many coming in. So that's running really, really well, and I keep giving them more and more responsibility. The other thing I'm doing is I am making sure that I have a virtual assistant who can come in to handle all the cases, all the returns, and really keeping an eye on them. So she's going to help the one who also does customer service. That way I don't have to worry about all these cases being taken care of, are all the returns and item not received cases being closed on time. And the one thing I really want, which I've never really had a reliable virtual assistant who could do this, is one who can call eBay. I've played with this a little bit in the past and I've seen some success with it, but I really want to specifically hire one this time who can call eBay, has experience doing it. So that way, if there's cases that are closed against us that they shouldn't have been, that she can call up or he can call up and get them closed or appeal them so that we win those cases and those defects don't hit us. Because that does happen sometimes. And right now I'm dealing with them and I don't want to have to deal with them anymore. So the more I can pass off to the virtual assistants, the better. And so far it's been going really, really well. It's been really, really exciting to see this happen. Now, greatest milestones along the way, definitely the first month where I made more than $100 or even $100 in profit. And then just the months where I've done, over, I think I had a month where I was doing well over $100,000 in sales. That's been really exciting. My first Q4 was definitely a milestone that I wanted to celebrate as well. It's the first month where I made enough on eBay to cover my mortgage payment back when I had a mortgage before we sold our apartment. That was incredible feeling. Nothing like that. So that was in 2017, and I still remember like telling Chad that. I was like, Chad, guess how much we made this month? I made enough to cover our mortgage. Like, it was just an incredible feeling. Hey, thank you for the $1 super chat. I really, really appreciate that. So Mirna says, how much do you need to start? So Mirna, the cost to get started with eBay dropshipping is relatively low, especially compared to other businesses, because you're not buying a bunch of inventory up front. So eBay you can get started with for free. You can also get started using the software I was talking about. They have free trials. You can get started with that for free. The only real thing you have to worry about is PayPal jail. So when you first start selling on eBay, PayPal is going to hold your money until the item has been marked as delivered. And they do that for the first 3 months that you're in business. So the item gets delivered, the customer buys the item, you buy it from your supplier, the supplier gives you a tracking number, you upload it to eBay, PayPal is able to see that. Once the item is delivered, PayPal releases the money to you. So how do you pay for it in the meantime? You use a credit card. And that's basically the way you deal with it. So Wayfair won't let you download the photos. Yeah, so take the screenshot like I showed you. No, it's not too late in 2019. So currently we're making this video in late August, And this gives you enough of a runway to get started and to get things going before quarter 4, which is really the end of November. So you have 3 months to get going. And that's enough time, and then you'll get things going, and then November really catapult your success forward. All right. What's up, TJ? It says new student here. Thanks for being here, TJ. Okay. Yeah, so Wally says, in your super simple virtual assistant course, are you going to update your training videos? Yeah, Wally, I am. So the super simple virtual assistant course, that's a mouthful. I don't know what I was thinking with that name. So it's basically designed to be super simple for you because it includes videos that you can send your virtual assistants so that you don't have to train them yourself. Now, some things have changed. So I, inside the main course, and I haven't updated inside the VA course yet, but those updates will be coming soon. All right, so Martina says, hey, Paul, did you ever have a problem with brands? Oh, okay. So I'm not sure what your first question means, brands you're not allowed to sell. I think you're talking about like Vero items on eBay. There's certain brands that you're pretty much not allowed to sell. But again, if you use a software, the software will warn you if the item is a Vero item. So this is another reason I encourage people to use the software. Do you always download invoices from Gmail? No, I don't download my receipts from Gmail, but there is an easy way to do it. If you use a Chrome extension called Cloud HQ. Now, Cloud HQ, they do like a ton of different things. You need to look for the one that says export to Google Sheets, and that will allow you to quickly download a whole bunch of stuff, all your emails, into a Google Sheet with links to pictures of everything. That's probably the fastest way to download stuff. Larry says, I'm having trouble with bundles. Can you talk more about it? Want to increase my profit? So Larry, bundles are a great way to increase profit. There are 2 ways to do them on eBay, either 2 of the same item or 2 different items. So good example of 2 of the same items, again, are bedside tables. With Walmart, this is a good example. Walmart free shipping on all orders over $35. So let's say there's a bedside table that's $25. You can put 2 of them together and get free shipping. So you can create a listing on eBay for 2 of them. And then once it sells, you can ship the person 2 instead of just the 1. So with that, it's very easy to do. You would just go into your repricing software, like if you're using SKUGrid, and just mark it up enough to cover 2 of the item instead of just 1. And you don't even have to add in shipping because shipping is going to be free. Now with 2 different items, that's harder to do. Oh, and by the way, for that one, with the images, you will have to create your own images, use some sort of collage to make it look like it is 2 of the same item. I did make a video showing how to do that here on YouTube. So if you go through some of my older videos, I do show how to use a collage to use bundles and stuff. Now the other type of bundle is 2 different items. And again, you'll have to go in and take a screenshot or make a collage that shows the 2 different items side by side. That one's a little bit harder because both the title and the description, you'll kind of have to merge the 2 together. And the repricing is very difficult as well because all the software you use will reprice based on 1 item. You can't put 2 different items together. So you'll have to, what I would do is pick the more expensive item and reprice it based on that, but also mark it up enough to cover the other item as well. Okay. Right now, I am using SKUGrid. All right, so let's see. How am I supposed to send the item to customers without paying? Without paying. How am I supposed to send the item to customer without paying? So I think this is maybe a question about PayPal Jail. And my advice to you would be to use a credit card until PayPal starts releasing the money. Do I personally still dropship from Amazon? Yes. If I'm international, do I need tax exempt? You never need it, but in order to be competitive, it's a really good idea to become tax exempt on a website if it's available. So with Walmart, Amazon, and Home Depot, it's very easy to become tax exempt. Other websites, it's not easy. And by easy, I just mean they actually have programs in place. There's a lot of steps involved to become tax exempt, but I'll say it's possible with those ones. With websites like Wayfair and Lowe's, it's not really possible, or practical, I should say, to become tax exempt. It is possible, it's just not practical for us as resellers to do it. Okay, let's see. Hey, Paul, I sell an item with a warranty. How does that work with my eBay buyer? Love the outside. Okay. Rest of the comments, not really a question. So if an item you're drop shipping from a supplier comes with a warranty, what do you do about that? Well, my general advice is to ignore the warranty and to delete it from your listings. I used to include them, but I found it just caused too many headaches and issues. Customers saying, well, how do I get the warranty and things like that. And a lot of times the warranty will only apply to the person who buys it from the retailer, who would be you, and you can't really transfer it to someone else. So what you should do is just take that warranty information out, so there's no confusion. How do you list an item with a discount for one order? So there is bulk discounts available on eBay. I've done it before. I don't do it a lot, so I can't remember off the top of my head where to do it on eBay, the bulk listing. But if you search for eBay bulk listings on Google, they do give you a walkthrough of how to do it. I just haven't done it in so long. I can't remember, Wally, sorry. All right. Do you need to be a US citizen to apply to become tax exempt? Generally, you do, because you need to at least register in one state, but you can have a business here instead and have the business register. All right, so Ed asked a question, but, where can I find the sales tax amount that eBay has collected? So you can get that for every single listing in the reports that you can download. So if you go to the all orders page, there's now a button on the right that says, I think it just says download. And you click download and it will download all the orders that are, so what you first have to do is go to the all orders page and filter it out by a date range, and also filter out, you only want items that were sold, or only items that are waiting shipment, or all the ones that have already shipped out. So once you have that all filtered out, then you click on download and it'll download everything that falls under that filter. Then from there, it will show you how much Amazon collected, if they collected anything at all for each order. Now, as for totals, I'm not sure if you can see the totals. I'm wondering if you can see it inside one of the reports, but I've never actually looked before. But you could just add up the column that says how much eBay collected and just add that up for yourself. I'm not sure why you would need that though. Kind of curious why you would need that. You actually don't need to know how much they collected and remitted. What you need to do instead is to, when you're filing a sales tax return for the state, what you do is you say, okay, we had X number of sales. They want to know how much you did in sales for that state. So let's say it's $5,000 in sales for that state. That's what they want to know. Then they will estimate how much you owe in sales tax, but you just have to put in Well, eBay took care of everything for me. So whatever I was supposed to owe, eBay collected and remitted. So that should be enough to get you through the sales tax return. It's called the $0 sales tax return. Amazing update about your VA team. Would definitely love to hear more. Nice mortgage milestone as well. Thank you and have a great weekend. Yeah, thanks. That was a great question, Dan. Thank you. Cool. So if you guys are getting any value out of this, I'm still going to stick around, but I would appreciate if you guys gave the video a thumbs up, just to let me know that you're getting value out of this, that you guys still like the Q&As and you still want me to do them every week. I do them every week so far on Fridays at around 4 p.m. Eastern time. I don't think I've ever missed a week of live Q&As in almost like 3 years or 2 years now. And if you guys are watching this on replay and you have any questions for me, make sure to ask them in the comment section of any of my videos, and I'll take a screenshot of them just like I did here and put them up on the screen so I can answer them during my next live Q&A, so I can answer all the questions you guys have. And if you guys want to make sure you don't miss any of my videos, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate that as well. This is completely free. I do this free for you guys, so the only thing I ask and I would love is one of those thumbs up and to subscribe to the channel. Statistically, half you guys that watch this video aren't even subscribed to my channel. So go ahead and subscribe, guys. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Okay, let's see. Actually, I don't think there's any more questions here. So yeah, guys, thanks so much everyone who's stuck around. We have A. Greg still here. We have Ed still here. We have Alam here. We have Abraham here. We have Dan, who looks like maybe just left. So thanks everyone who stuck around. I really appreciate you guys, and consider joining us during the next live Q&A. I would really appreciate that. The more questions we have, the more people in the live chat, the better these go, the more questions I can answer quickly for you guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye for now.